We make purchasing decisions every single day. When we're hiring an expert to help us or making a major purchasing decision, there's a high risk that the other person is not acting in your best interest. As an example, I recently had to hire a lawyer for an important personal matter. He seemed really good, but he was also more than $500 an hour. So I wasn't sure whether he was acting in my best interests or whether he was acting in his best interests. In other words, I wasn't sure if he was just trying to sell me. I'm going to share with you today the way that I got comfortable with this lawyer, and this way of thinking and this methodology is something that you can use when you're evaluating a financial advisor, you're buying a home, you're hiring a lawyer, buying a car, or any big financial decision, frankly. What I would recommend is that in these situations, you ask yourself a few key questions. Number one, what's in it for them? If the person stands to gain a lot financially, they have a tremendous incentive to close the deal. And this could be a serious problem if whenever they gain, you lose, because this is a conflict of interest. So the obvious example would be the example I gave where I was hiring a lawyer. His incentive is to bill at $500 an hour as many hours as he can. And whenever he does that, he wins and I have to pay him, so I lose. Other hand, it's different if you are aligned in interest. For example, let's say you're about to go into business with somebody. They may have a tremendous amount to gain. But if you guys are business partners sharing in both the upside and the downside of the business venture, when he does well, you're also going to do well. So that person's incentives may actually help you. Question number 2. Are they telling you the downsides of what they are trying to sell you or the option they're recommending? It's rare that something or a big decision is a no-brainer. There are usually at least 2 or 3 options. And you should ask for all the reasons that the option is not necessarily the best option. If the person is reluctant or unable to tell you this, they may be biased and they may not be looking out for your interests. Now, I appreciate that it may be awkward to ask this question and it may even seem potentially impolite, but it's a very shrewd question that you should definitely ask to see whether they've carefully thought through what they're recommending to you and whether they see the downsides. Number 3, ask what your options are. As I mentioned before, there's usually more than one option. And what you should do is you should ask about what those alternatives are. You should ask about the competition. If they start shooting down all the other options or the competition, again, this is a sign that they might not be acting in your interest, because usually there's more than one solid competitor. There are usually more than one feasible options. Question number 4, do they ask about what you care about? If they don't know what's important to you, how could they possibly know if what they're selling is the right thing for you? They should be asking you questions to understand what you want and need. Be careful, however, because it's a standard sales technique to listen and then put the salesperson's product or service in the best possible light, given the information that you've provided. So my tip is this: if they ask you what you care about, that's good, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're looking out for you. But if they don't ask you what you care about and they're just talking about what they want to talk about, that's a huge red flag and you should watch out. Question number 5, what does your gut say? We have decades of experience dealing with people, and sometimes you just know that something doesn't feel right. If that happens, you should ask more questions. And even after asking more questions, if you still can't get comfortable, this might be your intuition telling you that something is wrong. When it comes to huge decisions, I think that you should pay attention to your intuition about people. Another good idea may be to bring a friend or somebody that you trust to also evaluate that person. Having that extra perspective may prove extremely helpful. If you enjoyed this video, please share it with a friend and subscribe. Thanks very much.